What do you need now from the Bank of International Settlements and the major central bankers such as Chairman Powell? What do they need to do to assist your nation?
Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you very much for the Globe for supporting Ukraine against this Russian aggression. Definitely, today we are very happy that major advanced countries and also international financial organizations support us. And also we try to do our best to impose as most harsh sanctions to Russia in order to increase the cost of this invasion on Ukraine. Coming back to your question regarding BIS and the IMF, so far we tried to persuade the managers, the leaders of this organization, that in the current environment, Russia cannot be allowed to be the member of this respected organization in the situation with this such military aggression and direct invasion into the territory of Ukraine. That's why we approached this organization with the request to suspend the membership of the Russia in financial organization of the world.
Deputy Governor, are you aware of the IMF and whether it's helping the Russians understand the sanctions and work around the sanctions? Are they seeking advice from them? What's your interpretation of what's happening between those multilateral institutions at the moment and how they're actually working with Russia day by day?
My understanding that at the current moment, so the active cooperation between the International Financial Organization and Russian financial institution is suspended. We hope that that is the only first step. We hope that, in the current environment, the membership of Russian financial organization like Central Bank, like Ministry of Finance and so on, so cannot be allowed. So all this respected in the past organization like Central Bank of Russia. So nowadays they try to finance, to support the terroristic state, which we consider the Russian state is now. So we don't think that in the current moment is reasonable to have any operations, any relations with the Russian authorities.
Your country needs aid, sir. Deputy Governor, I'm just wondering, we all see these numbers, huge numbers being thrown around. Have you got a read? Have you done any studies on how much aid you actually need? Do you have a number in mind of what you need right now?
So far, we try to keep our financial system under control. But again, our preliminary estimates show that on the daily basis, our GDP now about only half of the normal GDP amount under the peaceful conditions. So definitely it will put a huge strain on our public finances, also on the reserves of the central bank, and definitely we need the support of the global community to keep our finances viable and to support us in our fight against Russia. But it's very difficult now, to account how many billions of dollars, how many probably hundreds of billions of dollars we will need again after the war to restore our economy, to rebuild our economy. Yes.
How do you even begin to do normal central banking in such an abnormal time? How do you even assess the economic damage and even hold meetings at a time when things are so in flux?
Actually, that was already 8 years from the start of the military conflict with the Russian Federation. And definitely we had some business continuity plans, how to deal in the case of the direct military invasion. All the time we consider it such scenarios as to be of low probability, but unfortunately this low probability realized. Nevertheless, so I suppose that we were more or less prepared even for such scenario, and we continue to do our work in these conditions as much effective as it's possible.
Sergey, you wrote a paper in Another Time and Place, 2019, on monetary transmission. I want you to tell me what the currency will do. Not only the hryvnia, but what ruble will do. As ruble weakens, do you just assume that Russia bombs itself back to a barter economy?
Definitely the monetary transmission, even described in my paper, does not work now. So we don't want to play these games and like Russian central bank does, and we don't think that the key policy rate nowadays it's an effective instrument. So we just suspended to consider our monetary policy, and as conducted under the inflation targeting regime. We suspended to consider our policy rate as the main instrument. So now we manage our financial sector, we manage our economy via monetary instruments almost manually.
As an economist, Sergei, what do you make of the financial warfare that Western nations have really been waging to try to isolate Russia? Do you think that when we look back in history, it will be considered a success?
Probably the unique situation nowadays that the unique situation is that you hit the Western world nowadays, hit the economy, which used to function in completely normal market conditions. I mean, market conditions, normal market conditions in the economic sense, and also for the financial system. We used to live in the Soviet Union, but which was also isolated from the Western world. But at that time, that economy was built from the beginning on completely different grounds. Nowadays, I suppose that this hit to the economy, which was really integrated in the global economic and financial world, so it's really massive. And frankly speaking, I expect really catastrophic consequences for the Russian economy and for the Russian financial system.
Deputy Governor, I want to finish on something important, not just for your economy, but for the rest of the world. And I think it might help get people's attention. We've gone through the stats on this programme. That Russia and Ukraine supply more than a quarter of the world's wheat exports, 1/5 of the corn sales, and 80% of the sunflower oil cargoes. At some point, Deputy Governor, the farmers need to get back out into the fields and get back to work. Mm-hmm. Can you help us understand the amount of devastation we could see to those goods if those farmers can't get back into the fields and work in the next several months? Mm-hmm.
Yes, so that is a very important question for the global economy, for the food security globally. Yeah, Ukraine and also Russia, in some extent, that are very, very important suppliers of the wheat, of the corn, of the oil seeds and sunflower oil to the global markets. And I hope that this military invasion will be suspended very fast, and our farmers will be able to have the normal, I would say, agricultural year this year. Otherwise, I'm afraid that even global consequences could be very, 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 very tough.
Could you help people understand what that would look like, Deputy Governor, if this wasn't dealt with quickly enough and this went into the summer?
I don't know. I'm not able to provide you any estimates at the moment. And currently we try to do our best to secure to ensure the functioning of the payments in the country and secure the financial stability in the this environment. So probably we have to do such calculations and in order to understand how the world will live without the supply of this food stuff from Ukraine.